Shalom. First off, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Akakadash. Yahweh being true name for Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai being named for His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone, that taught us truth and will well. A salutations to hopeful like pushing His truth and all honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yahweh Sop, come to know us, the spirit power Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And this lesson is going into this article that's happening right now in Canada. This is a huge step towards persecution. Gigantic step. Canada unveils plans to make online hate speech a crime. Now, the thing that makes this such a big deal is because what has been considered hate speech is teaching the Bible. Teaching the 100% truth of the Bible. According to YouTube and all these other platforms, that has been labeled as hate speech, especially if you speak about what a Hebrew Israelite is, according to the Bible. And if you're identifying so-called black people as Hebrew Israelites, your channel and your pages and everything you talk about is automatically identified as quote-unquote hate speech, because it comes against the lies that has been forwarded upon this earth for so many hundreds of years. And, one of the biggest lies is they say that the so-called white man is the real JEWs, which they weren't put into that land until the Balfour Declaration. Archaeological and biblical and spiritual evidence all points towards so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans as a vast majority. Those are the real JEWs, according to the Bible, man, the real Hebrews. So here's what's even more crazy about it. Just read some of the harsh punishment. A person could be fined up to $20,000 if found guilty of hate speech that personally identified a victim. However, the operators of social media platforms are excluded for now. Ottawa said it would soon ask the public for input on proposals to make the operators more accountable. So, over the past, probably I'd say about 5 years, they've been systematically labeling everybody that's affiliated with being a quote-unquote Hebrew Israelite as a hate group. And they placed us on a page called a Southern Poverty Law Center, which identifies us as a potential, what they say is a potential terrorist, all because we read out the Bible. That's the crazy part. All we do is we're reading you your sentence according to the scriptures. We're not saying we're going to take any physical action into our own hands besides when the Lord comes back, but that's going to be a miraculous event. Who knows when that could happen. So according to society standards, that's pretty much in their eyes wouldn't happen, because they don't believe that the Lord would ever come back. So what identifies us as being so damn extreme? Why? Because we're cussing out people in the streets and telling it like it is, and calling out systematic racism for what it is. Yeah, motherfucker, they didn't build a damn statue for us. George Floyd, this nigga just had his damn life taken away because you had a damn racist cop that kneeled on his neck for over 10 minutes, and suffocated dude and killed the dude, and now he got put in prison for it. And we call out that bullshit like that happens, and we tell you, the history of the constant oppression that happened to our people. But we do it in a harsh manner. But nonetheless, we shouldn't be labeled as a hate group for bringing it out and telling somebody and telling everybody what happened. It's true. You can't sit up here and say they're a hate group because we say that so-called white people put us in slavery. That's not a lie. That fucking happened, all right? And we read to you in the Bible, it says that, when you do that to a nation, a person, the judgment has to be done to them. That's what's read in black and white. We can't help that was the way it was written. That's how the Lord wanted it to be written. That's what the prophets wrote down. That's what it is. But this is a fulfillment of an upcoming prophecy called the famine of the word. Okay? This is Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, which he's also going to send that too. But it says, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. So the Lord is basically shutting the door on people that are not righteous. He's cutting people off. You know, the heathens, the wicked actual Hebrew Israelites, he's cutting them off. Because what this means is we're not going to be able to be teaching on YouTube. And not even on YouTube, on any platform, period, that's deemed as social media. So this means that, or even in public, because that article, go back into it. It says online hate speech for now. So, we can't upload any videos. But that's been the main way the word has been spread across the whole planet. Because there's a camp in Canada. There's a Great Millstone camp there. So they're going to be directly trying to persecute and attack those brothers. If this law is passed and this plan comes into fruition, those brothers will no longer be able to put any shows up on YouTube. Otherwise, they're going to have to face a $20,000 fine. Brothers ain't got money to be doing that shit. So the only way the word's going to be heard is going to be in person, which that's going to make it even more powerful, because that's going to make people physically get up off their ass. And when you come in person and hear the church and the word, you feel the presence and the energy of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It's going to have more of a greater effect on people. So then it's going to get to the point to where how Yahweh Shai was teaching, he had crowds following him. So the scripture said there's nothing you can do but for the truth. So even though they're trying to stop the words of the Lord from going out, because Esau is scared about losing his power and the Lord coming back and taking it all away, he wants to try to slow it down or stop it. He's actually doing the opposite. He's going to make it even more powerful. If you take us off the online, well, shit, people are going to begin to scramble that have been watching, twiddling their thumbs, and they're going to begin to go straight out to the source and hear it in person. They're going to get scared because that prophecy is going to be fulfilled. They're going to be desperately seeking for answers, and more prophecies are going to be happening while that happens. And also, the Lord's going to set it up to where miracles are going to begin to take place. So he's going to put a spotlight on in-person camps. And next thing you know, them brothers going to be doing miracles on top of that. That word of mouth is going to spread so fast. And you got people that are going to be pulling out their own personal cell phones. And they're going to be recording it and uploading it. Well, you can't really necessarily punish nobody just because they pull out their phone and it was taking a video of somebody else performing a miracle. So that it's going to go viral. We're getting close to spiritual power. And what comes with that is family of the word too, as far as people not being able to hear, the truth. The select few, the message is only going to be pushed out there to feed the ones that already been, pretty much saved and sealed. They're just getting more and more edified and more built up in the spirit for the times to come. So there's nothing you can do but for the truth, man. So this little stuff they're doing, like this is right now, it's in Canada, but Canada is a pretty prominent country. They're right hand in hand with the U.S. pretty much. So don't be surprised if the U.S. follows what Canada's doing. Famine of the words on the way, man. There's a few scriptures about persecution. 2 Timothy 3:12. Yea, and all that will live godly in the Mashiach Yahushai shall suffer persecution. So they're going to label you as terrorists and all these other terrible things to get the world be enemies with you, for them to justify coming to take you in prison and kill you. They know you ain't really about no damn terrorist bullshit. But what they also know is that the more this word increases and spreads and more get woken up, the closer to them losing their whole power, their country, and their authority. Because the Lord's going to come back and he's going to take all of that. And the prelude to that is people waking up and the prophets speaking about all these things. They know and understand this. John 15:18, if the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. So know that the Lord already done been with everything you about to go through. So He's there for you and understands what you about to experience. Don't let that steer you away from staying on track, man. First Peter 3:17, for it is better if the will of Yahweh be so that ye suffer for well doing than for evil doing. It's better to suffer from, you know, some bullshit from for doing the right thing than to suffer from doing evil. Because when you suffer doing evil, that's when the Lord steps in and begins killing you. And you don't want that, man. You don't want the Lord to intervene and give you punishment. You know? This is Matthew 5:10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So you're blessed, because if you're persecuted for a good thing, that's a sign. Your name is written down on a list in the kingdom of heaven to just be getting the whole desires of your heart, man. Mansions and wives and islands and planets. You don't get islands, man. Islands with an S. With a mansion on them, each one of them. You just got to be able to endure it. That's all you got to do. Be able to endure. There's another article here. It came out. It says suspect accused of shooting Daytona Beach officer maybe have ties to extremist group. And guess what ties they're trying to say he has extremist group too? The Black Panther, and saying he has quote unquote Hebrew Israelite beliefs. you see the narrative that they're pushing with this? And this guy don't know nothing about no damn, about Hebrew Israelite. That's another thing too. They have labeled being a Hebrew Israelite as a religion. It's not. You might as well just say all black people at this point, because the actual truth is the so-called black people are Hebrew Israelites. So that means that you're just saying that all extremists are black, pretty much. It's the same thing as saying that, because it's the fact. It's biblical fact. So-called black people are Hebrews. They're the Hebrew Israelites. That's it. There's no getting around that. There's just too much evidence and proof with that. But see, they're attacking the ones that's teaching about Hebrew Israelites. Is what they want to come after. So then they got these guys that, either they're actually doing shit that's carnal and crimes like this, that somewhat know the truth and label that, and then they use that as leverage, or they're actually paying agents and actors and framing motherfuckers, and they're trying to get us, labeled as just as these people that need to be justified, thrown in jail and punished. When we don't be doing nothing, man. We got some scriptures here what we be teaching when it comes to nonviolence. This is Matthew 26:52. Then said Yahushua unto him, put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. The brothers of Great Millstone, we don't teach having guns and preaching with them, and we do teach about the violence that's to come, not from us, but from the Lord and other people and demons, people being possessed. We teach about the violence of Jacob's trouble that's getting ready to happen. We teach about the violence of slavery that's going to happen to so-called white people for putting so-called Negroes into slavery. Well, that's in the Bible. We're just reading what it says. But we teach about not taking matters into our own hands. We always bring the scripture out. And then, matter of fact, we cuss out other Israelite camps and groups that walk around preaching with knives on their hips and guns on their hips and marching in the street with rifles. We done cussed out people countless times. So what are they talking about? What is their purpose here? Purpose is they don't want nobody knowing, the so-called Negroes knowing who they are according to the Bible. They don't want them knowing about that heritage, because it's threatening to their empire and their agendas with the Illuminati and all this other bullshit. We're not extremists. We don't identify as black identity extremists like Sakari niggas. Those guys need to give us a bad name. Those dudes are preaching with weapons on their hips, and they basically think it's okay to take matters into your own hands. And then pull a gun on motherfuckers while they're teaching, man. And great brothers of great millstone don't do that shit. Romans 12:18. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. We teach these scriptures, man. We don't really have problems, physical altercations with people while we're teaching. We don't have to worry about that. Cops come up, get called on us all the time. And most of them just be waving at us when they get called on us. And the ones that do come out, they ask us to move to another spot. We do it immediately without hesitation. We don't argue with them, say we have a right to be here. No, we don't do none of that shit. We just do as they ask. So they know not to fuck with us. They're not going to have a unnecessary case because we live peaceably. Yes, we do yell and scream. We cuss some people out. But that's typically with energy that's matched and projected to us. If somebody will come up disrespecting us, while we're teaching amongst ourselves, we're basically minding our own business. And you have an individual that looks down on us. Oh, these niggas can't know nothing about the Bible. They talk over us and talk down on us, and we're supposed to learn from them and get to being rude. So we match their energy. We turn up and cuss them out. Like, hey, you don't got no reason being up here messing with us no damn way. You don't have no authority up here. We stand for the Lord. So yeah, we give it. We choose somebody out every once in a while. But that a lot of that's out of passion. And if it's anything that's quote unquote was perceived as hate, we teach it comes straight out the scriptures. It ain't shit we just make it up. For the most part, we be out there peaceful, man. And we never get physical with nobody unless it's in self-defense. Matthew 5:25. Agree with thine adversary quickly. We teach this all the time. Agree. It's better to agree with them and shift locations. While thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Okay, so we agree with cops fast when they come up. We don't argue with them, nothing. If they tell us to give us a demand, it may be violating our rights or whatever. We agree to it and then just go. And they be cool with us, man. But you see how we're being painted, though. Pay attention to that. They're trying to get us off from teaching you people any further because they don't want that to get to the step of the stage of miracles start coming out. So they're systematically got a lot of stuff set up. So when those things begin to happen, they're going to become persecuting the same time. Scriptures also talk about being blameless for the Lord. When you get delivered up to a judge, the scriptures talk about always be ye blameless. They really can't say that we do anything other than cuss somebody out. Big deal, whoop-de-woo. Parents, you got parents that cuss their kids out. Shit. The hell? Go in the fucking military. Your ass gonna get cussed the hell out. At least when I went in. Watch the fucking movies, man. Watch Full Metal Jacket. What's the big deal about cussing somebody out? The hell? But that just goes to show the damn devils that we're dealing with in a society. And that should let you know who really is teaching truth, because why would they go through such extreme efforts to stop this word when all we got is Bibles in our hands and we're reading out of it? Have no evidence of physical activity of us being terrorists whatsoever, other than some bullshit that they make up, some crisis actors, and stage some bullshit. Like that synagogue shooting they had a little while ago. We don't believe that shit. None of them dudes was even affiliated with anybody. And they got this most recent interaction we brought the article on. What affiliation does he have specifically as far as being a member of any specific camp? Because you can sit there all day and say you are Israelite, but does that mean you are actual prophet and have ties to a specific camp and is grafted in and had the title of Great Millstone? No. Look at how many gun shootings and school shootings that happened by so-called quote-unquote Christians. Remember that Las Vegas shooting that happened like on Halloween? I bet you that motherfucker was a Christian. He was an outstanding citizen. But did the news article say Christian shoots up fucking Las Vegas? No, it didn't. So why the hell are they coming out with articles and things like that that try to say, oh, Hebrew Israelite, this and that, he had extremists. Get the hell out of here, man. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, and y'all shouldn't be ignorant of it either. Those tuning in that don't know everything that happens with this program. Be wise. Be able to filter things that's going out and see things for what it is. And you secret disciples that's been watching the brothers for all these years, and you've been doing right, living your life right, and being sincerity. Be mentally prepared to try to help out some of these brothers, man. Because some of us are going to get persecuted so damn bad. We're going to be losing our houses, and we're going to need help. And that's going to be your time to do your work, to pitch in and help the prophets. You might not have been set up to be a teacher, but your lot's coming. And a lot of y'all that have been watching, your lot's going to be there to try to help some of the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai that get persecuted so damn bad. I mean, you might have to step up to be there to help bail brothers out. Brothers may have to be on a move and need a place to lay their head. They may need food. If we're approaching the time to where all you people that's been watching and learning, it's going to be time for you to take action if you ain't been the ones set up to teach. We got a sister that's been constantly blessing us over the past few years with all types of things. She's going to be blessed tenfold for that, 100-fold. Well, the rest of y'all people, get ready to step to the plate. Your work's coming. Because guess what? The ministry still ain't going to stop. They take us off YouTube and the internet, we'll still be out on the highways and hedges teaching until they make that shit illegal. And when they make that shit illegal, we'll be teaching secretly amongst each other in certain locations. The work don't ever end, man. So hey, Lord's will, this lesson's edifying. I'll just bring it out. Some things that's coming down the pipeline. Send some praise up for the brothers in GMS in Toronto. There's a camp out there that's in Canada. Send some praise up for them brothers and make sure, they stay covered and fed, and protected from these unrighteous decrees. And with that, I'm going to close out. Give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKakadash, double honor to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone, Natasha's truth and will well. And salutations to you, hopefully, like pushing this truth and no honesty and sincerity. Shalom.